So for today's 7 Days of Halloween project, I'm going to do another art journal page. So I've gone through my paper collection. I've pulled out some of the old pages from like a couple of years ago from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to just create a little sort of cluster just to kind of cover the page like so, just to kind of give it a little bit of interest in that background, like that. We just like those four. This is going to be the background for my art journal page today. I might just throw that in there. I've got a few other bits and pieces that I've got here. Maybe something like that. I'm going to be building on top of this, so it makes no difference. Really, there's a full packet of the layers there, but I'm going to put it away somewhere different. So these are, I think these are this year's colours, or this year's. That'll do. Piece of that. Piece of that will do nicely. So we'll just tear some of that as well. And it's just going to be in the background. It's not going to be a focal point or anything like that. It's just, I've already got a piece of that from, have we got a piece of that from down there? Oh, look, there's a strip there. That'll do. So that's just going to be where I'm going to stick down just to kind of build some interest in the background. Then I'm going to put some gesso over the top of it, and then I'm going to build and add some colour from spritzers and sprays and that kind of thing, and then I'm going to stick some collage on top of that. So a lot going on today. So what we need to do is literally just grab a load of, that might not even end up looking like that. And there's a full page there, look. Let's just give the gel medium a bit of a spritz, a bit of a shake up. I'm going to use the full page, and I'm not bothered about wrinkles or bubbles or anything like that today. We're in a let's just play, get it down on the page and see what happens. So I'm not even going to bother putting it in the back there because there's quite a lot on the page, so it should soak fairly easy. Just create a little bit of a border. That'll do. And then just go over the top with that. That'll just kind of stick it down. Thank you very much. So that's now on the page. That's a full sheet. But what the heck? Do the same thing over here to this piece, just leaving a little border like so. And then we'll get the other piece that I wanted for up here. Let's get some more down. Right, just get it nice and fluid, like that. So that goes down, so that's on there. And then we said we'd have this piece, which is a bit of an offcut, so I'll get some more of that medium on there. Just literally get it all down. The stuff that you don't use immediately, you can just use for going over the top to seal it in place. So let's just line that up there. Doesn't matter if it's not exact. That'll do. I'm trying not to touch this because it does make my skin go funny. I have got some gloves somewhere, but I don't know what I've done with them. I putted them somewhere and they be disappearing. Right, let's get this one next. So we said we'd have that about there. Just kind of like layered clusters. Doesn't really matter too much. So that one over there. Ugh. Gloopy mess. But that's fine. Get it over in that corner there. And then we'll get this piece of the periodic table over here. About there. Just a little bit of what you call, it's like intuitive placement. Just look to see what feels right. Feels right, looks right, either way. That, I think, should we get any more on there? Maybe just another little piece. What have we got? Something a bit more graphic. And a lot of this is going to be hidden kind of underneath gesso anyway, so you know. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of like the first layer. Just like winter, it's all about the layers. Okay, so let me get that dried off, clean the brush, and then I'll be back. Okay, so all that page is now dry. Looks almost good just to leave as it is, doesn't it? So I've got some white gesso. This is indigo blue white gesso. I've had this one a while. Oh, there we go. So this is the same brush that I use for the matte medium, but I've washed it. Honest gov. I did wash it. So I'm just going to put a thin coat of the white gesso all over, just to kind of knock the pattern back a bit. I know it just seems a bit counterintuitive, particularly if you're just starting, and a bit daunting to be covering up that beautiful paper that you paid a lot of money for. And particularly in this country, it's difficult to get hold of these days because there's not that many craft shops anymore. A lot of the craft stores closed during quarantine and lockdown and never reopened again. So most businesses went online and never reopened again, which is a huge shame because there's nothing better than spending a lazy afternoon browsing around a craft shop. Okay, so as you remember, I sealed everything down with the matte medium. So all that paper has had a sealer coat first before the gesso, which basically means that there's now a barrier between the layer of white gesso that I've added on, just like that, and the actual surface of the paper. There's the sealer coat between that and the white gesso. What that enables us to do is, if we so decide, is we can grab a wet wipe or a damp cloth or a piece of kitchen towel that you've spritzed with a little bit of water. Even while that's still kind of wet, but even when it's dry, you can still do this, is you can take your cloth and you can just lightly rub, and that gesso will kind of lift to give you that kind of an old, kind of whitewashy, distressed kind of feel to it. You see, love it. Now when I'm doing anything like this, some areas you may have to rub just a little bit harder. Glad Ian's not in, because he made a sarcastic comment about that. Some areas, yeah, you do have to just rub a little bit, just to reveal underneath. And then, look at that fantastic kind of aged, distressed, grungy background that you've created for yourself, which is marvellous. Right, let's get that dried. Okay, so now that's all dry, I've got some sponges, little round cosmetic-y kind of sponges, and I'm just going to cut them up into a couple of colours. That'll do. And I'm going to add some colour just into the background. So I've got Deco Art Bright Orange. Give it a squeeze, give it a shake I should say. So this is how we start building up our kind of Halloweeny background. So this is the Damaged Damask stencil. Let's just bring that off the page a little bit because I don't want it. I could just give it a bit of a rub and a pounce. Don't forget, we're trying to get kind of like a distressed kind of feel to it. So I'm not going in for a perfect perfect reproduction, if you like, of the pattern. Right, so give it a bit of a swish over. Of course, it is going to eat your sponge a little. You end up with bits of sponge everywhere, but that's fine. We can live with that. And then maybe just a little bit more. That'll do us. And then we'll add another bit over here, I think. So it's a bit sort of translucent, the paint. It's not matte. That's okay. And as well, because you've got the gesso down, the paint will move as well. So there we go. So we've got three kind of nice kind of background so far. So that can get put to one side. Grab a wetty, just clear that off. Of course, they've just fallen on the floor because that's exactly where everything's gone today. I've had one of those days today where the universe conspires against me. I tried getting in the car this morning to go see Mum and Dad, and as I bent down to sit in the car, the back of my jeans gave way and ripped right the way up the back. When I got back after lunch, I was just trying to eat my lunch, and I ended up throwing half of it down my front. Yeah, it's just been one of those days today. Anyway, never mind. Right, let's get this dried off quick. Okay, so that's that done. So I need to add another colour. So we need some more Halloweeny kind of colours. So we've got orange there. So let's kind of bring in some greeny greens. So we've got olive green. So what other textures have I got which are kind of Halloweeny? Well, I've got this brick wall, which is perfect for that kind of thing. So then the other thing was, when I got back from Mum's, after I'd done the errands and taken the shopping or whatever, and we got back, and halfway home I suddenly realised I'd left my phone behind. And of course Mum and Dad found it about 2 minutes after we'd left, but couldn't ring me to let me know that I'd left it. Like I said, it's one of those days. Right, so brick. Again, you can swirl around with your brick effect. So that's one, and then we'll add some more up the top here. Come down in a bit of a kind of staggered triangle kind of formation, like so, and then we'll add a little bit more over here in the corner. So up and then down, and again up a little bit in a bit of a staggered formation like exposed brick. Yes, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so what do I need? Oh yeah, just get rid of that. That's all done, and then we'll get that dried off. Okay, so now we've got that. Excuse me a moment. It's thirsty work doing all that talking. Right, so what I want to do now is I want to start building up my little collage image. So I've got, from my stash, I've got this fabulous little Halloweeny kind of pumpkin with a little cat in it. So I just need to go around the edge. So these are from one of those CD resources that you can buy from, I think it's Dover Publications, Vintage Halloween this set was called. So I've printed this one out and then just cut it out, ready for use on the page. Actually quite shocked how expensive it was off Amazon. When I bought others a few years ago, they were a lot cheaper, a lot more expensive these days. So, little pumpkin cat, you're going to go there. Now, what did I do with my Yoo-hoo glue? I'm going to go through that one again. Yeah, so that cat's going to sit, I think, about there. But I've also got a little bit of a witchy cauldron that I want to stick in there too. But I've also got a kind of witchy character who's got a little bit of a retro vibe to her. So I've cut the head and I've got this fabulous hat, but I want to do kind of like one of those Zettiology kind of effects, like I did with the bird, or the birds recently. So what I want to do first of all is just glue that hat on. I don't want too much glue onto her head. Bring it quite far down. There we go. So that's going to sit quite nicely about there. I've kind of used these witchy hats in a few projects this year, but I normally have a theme that runs through. I think last year it was skulls, and the year before that it was like zombies. So it's witches this year. So that's my main theme for my Halloween this year. So you'll see witches appearing all over. You've already had some witches in the Halloween cards, so there's another project with some witches a bit later on. So again, you'll recognise this face as well because she's going to feature quite a bit. Right, so body wise, now I also mentioned previously about these digi download sets. So this is the Creepy Cobweb set. So what I want to do is I printed the full 8 sheets off. It's that one. I want to cut. Now what did I do with my scissors? I'll leave them over in the West Wing. Bear with. There we go. Ta-da. Right, so I'm going to create a body for her. So what I'm going to do is I'll just... Do I want it right in the middle? Do I want that spider's web right in the middle? Yeah, I think I do actually. So what I'm going to do is, then this is the beauty with digi downloads, is that once you've used it, unlike traditional paper pads, now I can fold it in the middle. Unlike traditional paper pads, they're not a one and done deal. Once you've used your sheet, you can go back, print it again if you want to. Okay, so witchy body, maybe a bit too long, maybe a little bit too long, so let's just curve that around in a kind of little bell shape. Witchy body, yay, love it. Right, no, not in a bell shape. Let's do a straight line. Let's just do a straight line. That's better. Right, so that's going to be witchy body. So head's going to sit there quite nicely. So I want to put a strip of something along the bottom. So I've got this border, so that'll do nicely there. I'll just cut that, and then have I got any distressing handy? Yes, vintage photo, that'll do. Foam pad. I've got brown foam. Yeah, there's brown foam pad there. That's fine. Okay, so let's just add a bit of grunge around the outside. Actually, maybe a bit too wide. Let's just trim that down a tad. Yeah, I think that's probably a bit better. Right, so that's now going to fit better about there. Okay, so I did print some arms that were holding a cat, so I'm hoping that I've cut these at pretty much, oh look, almost the perfect size, look, excellent. Let's grab some glue and just put some of that glue in the middle for now. So it didn't really make any difference really whether I used the centre of that cobweb sheet or not, did it really? Let's add some glue along the bottom. Okay, and we'll get that border on. Make sure we get the backs the right way up. There we go. So we're starting to build the shape up a little bit. Now we can just add a tiny bit of glue just there, because that's where the head's kind of going to sit, like so. So the character's starting to build. Right, legs. So this is where the Zetti legs come in. Couple of stripy stockings. So this is just a sheet that I created. I've got different coloured kind of stripes, green, orange, purple, and then just black and white. Because the stripes, although there's not a lot to them, so I'm just going to put the glue all on the back there. Look, I should have put some on the front. Wrong side, Mike. Alright, that's it, just a little bit there. So that can lift up, and then we can just add those legs about there. Right, so I think actually, as soon as I've just put the glue on the back of that other leg, let's just stick all the rest of this down. A little bit of glue on the cat, back of the hat, cat's head, and then all the way down on the back of the body. We've got as much of the body done as we really need to, so that means we can just stick everything down. And I'll just put that other leg on there. Ta-da! Oh, cape! I wanted to give her a cape. Right, let's just do that quickly before spider web. What colour spider? Let's give her a purple cape. So again, it doesn't really make any difference whereabouts on the sheet we do it. Just kind of want to give her, make sure it's wide enough. So let's just cut that. Okay, so let's just bring that in and then create a flared collar. Just do this on the fly. So I'm creating a kind of almost like a wine bottle shape. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be exact. And then let's just create a little bit of a wing. There we go. So how's that for our see the leg? I knew that'd work. Or wouldn't work. Come on. Can't really tell that it's a cape, but it's good enough. It's good enough. Right, let's flip that over. Now we can add a bit more glue. That's probably better. Okay, let's flip her over. Stick her down there like so. Right, now let's flatten it. So now we've got the legs on, I want some shoes. So earlier on I found some shoes, some witchy shoes. There we go. How was that for witchy shoes? So again, pre-printed, cut out with a little bit, I've gone around the edges just to hide those raw white bits. So let's just stick that down there. Now I've got to be careful not to get too much glue on the front of this because I've used a laser printer. Ew, see, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. To print these rather than an inkjet printer. If you get any of this spirit glue on the front, you've got the chance of the colour coming off. So you've just got to be a bit careful. There we go. So there's my little Zetti witch, if you like. So what did we do with the pumpkin and the cauldron that we had earlier? Oh dear me. I put them somewhere safe, didn't I? There they are, look. Right, so now that can go there and that can go there. Hee. So let's grab some glue. This is definitely starting to run out. Right, let's just force some of that in from the bottom. Okay, so that's the cat sat in the pumpkin or the jack-o'-lantern. So let's just sit that about there. And then we've got the cauldron, which I also did exactly the same thing again from my stash, printed it out, cut it, because, you know, it's not the most interesting thing. You guys watching me sitting cutting out. I know some of you like it, but it doesn't make for good video. Okay. Cauldron. Witchy witch witch. Cool. Okay, so now what we can do is we've got some of those spare bits of paper. Let's start creating some borders to go around. So let me fold that in half. Just print it out on paper, so it doesn't make any difference about thickness. So let's create a kind of bumpy border for the bottom. So then when we open that up, we've got a nice kind of framed border. But let me just split that, because I can then stick that there, and then just use another colour, or even I can maybe use that other strip there first. Right, so let me use some different type of glue now. This is just PVA. So now that I know where that's going to come, I can just stick that down like that. And just a bit on the back there. That can stick down there. Spidery borders. And again. This is the sort of time when you can just kind of let loose and stop thinking too much and just play. Border there. Right, so we've got more of that, so let's do the same thing at the top. So let's create again some kind of, it would be easier if I'd have just made it smaller, wouldn't it? Make it smaller, it's easy to handle. Right, rip that one down the middle so we can do that over there and do that there, and then we can use some more of that green and stick that as the border there. I just might as well use up the rest of it. So stick the bats under. Ghoulish frames. Spiderwebby. There we go. It's just a question of just having fun sticking things down then. There we go. So frame top and bottom. And then let's see about adding some. We've already cut that up, so let's add some kind of wavy spiderweb, purpley kind of border up the sides. So again, we can just rip that in the middle. Stick that down, stick that down, and then we've got a little strip of those purple bats again, which mirrors there. A bit of glue down first, so we know where we're going to go. Just like so. And it's just a question of, like I said, just have fun, just let yourself go. Now, we've already got like a decal edge there, so if I just cut straight up, half the job's already done. There you go. It's not really like cheating, is it? And then we just utilise the rest of that orange strip. Or you could just utilise washi tapes. If you've got washi tape, this is the perfect time to use them. In fact, I've still got my pile of washi tapes out from a previous project, so I shall probably get some washi tape on this in a minute, just to kind of strengthen and add a bit more vibrancy to it. Flip that over. Doesn't even have to match up. Leave a bit at the bottom. And if you've got Halloween stamps or textures that you want to use, now's the time. Create your borders. Right, so we've now got a frame all the way around. Let's just come in and see what else we've got. Yeah, you see we've got some brick washi tape. Not necessarily Halloweeny as such, but it can be as Halloweeny as you want to make it. So we'll say, there we go, cemetery wall. And then let's see what else we've got. We've got some skull and crossbones. Even better. So let's just add a piece of that. Let's stick some of that up there. Just overlap. Have fun with it. There we go. So we've got all kind of different borders on there now. Right, now somewhere there's also some cut out and printed Happy Halloween trick or treat. My personal favourite, which is a quote from The Wizard of Oz, which we'll stick down there. Now before we do that, did I go around? I didn't go around the edges. Now I'm saying The Wizard of Oz. I think it's from The Wizard of Oz, the quote. Oh, it's the wrong glue. A bit like the wrong trousers. Right. Certainly was the wrong trousers from this morning when they split. I know. Have a good titter. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? So somewhere there's another trick or treat, Happy Halloweeny kind of, yeah, just there, look. That'll do. We're not done yet. We're far from done yet. We've got much more to do. There's much more to do on this page. This is going to be one of those more is more kind of pages. Let's stick that down there. Let's stick it there where it is. Okay, so the brown pen you saw me use earlier, Faber-Castell Pitt pen. This one is Caput Mortem. So it's Indian ink, which means that you can lay it down and it smudges to give you your shadows. But I think this one is now on its last legs, so we may just have to employ a different tactic. Our old favourite, the old Stabilo All Pitt pen. So let's just create some shadow down here, witch's shadow, and I can hear a little four-pawed creature just coming into the room. Hello, sweetie pie. No, he's having none of it. So let's just create a little bit of shadow there, a little bit there, and then let's just grab some water. Water everywhere. And we've got a little brush. So let's just activate and create those shadows. times like this I like to turn it upside down, because what you can do, you can just push it down a bit. A bit more water down there, look. And then if you add more water to it, you can dilute it a little bit more, and then push the shadow down, and it just kind of disappears and blends. Of course, porous. Don't rub too much, we don't want it to disappear altogether. Let's just do that side. So there seems a lot there, but once we've activated it and created our little border, a little shadow block, it will just start to dissipate. And we'll just turn the brush round and then just work it down. And then we can just start to kind of diffuse it away. Not done yet. We're not done yet. Okay, so let's just use what we've got just to add a few little splatters into that background. And it'll dry kind of greyish, because it's not black, but that'll do. Okay, I'll get it all dried off and then I'll be right back. And I think I'm kind of happy with the way that's turned out, so I think I'm going to call that a day. Right, so all I need to do is just quickly sign it and date it, and whatever today's date is, I think it's the 28th of September. There we go. So yes, I am filming this well in advance. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this art journal page with my Zetti witch. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.